Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm Catherine Mobley, Senior Video Producer in Marketing and Communications with the City of Winston-Salem. We are here to celebrate a gentleman who holds the distinction of being the first elected official in the history of Winston-Salem to have first served the citizens as a city employee. This great depth of knowledge, experience, insight into the workings of our city government contributed to his effectiveness as a mayor and also helped to shape the wonderful city we live in today. Our man of the hour, is Mayor Alan Joines. In March 1971, Mayor Joines joined the city staff after earning a master's degree in public administration from the University of Georgia. He started as administrative assistant to the then city manager, John Gold. Over the next 29 years, he climbed the governmental ladder, and he served as director of evaluation, public safety coordinator, director of development, assistant city manager, and finally, deputy city manager. In the mid-1980s, he was given the primary task of devising strategies and relationships in our community that would help to boost the city's economic development. He played major roles in 18 different projects, including the Wachovia headquarters, which is now the Wells Fargo Center, the Stevens Center, the East Winston Shopping Center, the Sawtooth Building, and Winston Square Park. Mayor Joines also helped in the recruitment and/or expansion of about 28 businesses, and as a result helped to bring more than 5,000 jobs into our community, and that is truly a feat. In September 2000, he retired from the city to become the first president of the Winston-Salem Alliance, a nonprofit organization formed to address critical economic issues facing Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. But a year later, citizens went to the polls and overwhelmingly voted Mayor Alan Joines as our mayor. Since taking office in December 2001, Mayor Joines has concentrated on rebuilding the local economy and unifying the community by pursuing an inclusive agenda of economic and social service initiatives. During his tenure, more than 40 companies have actually relocated or expanded in Winston-Salem, creating about 14,000 new jobs. The city's downtown has made a remarkable comeback, and if any of you have driven down, it looks beautiful. Foot traffic everywhere. There's a new downtown baseball stadium, residential development, and the expansion of the Wake Forest Innovation Quarter. Strategic economic development incentives, prudently structured to protect the taxpayers' interests, have brought major new manufacturing facilities to our city. In 2006, Mayor Joines took the lead in establishing the 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness. And as a result, Winston-Salem is making great strides in ending chronic homelessness among veterans and others who want the help. In March 2012, Mayor Joines launched a childhood obesity prevention initiative to help children ages 7 to 10 and their parents to learn more about good nutrition, to understand why it's important for them to practice good nutrition and exercise. Today, one of his top priorities is the Poverty Thought Force, a community-wide effort that he formed with Councilmember Derwin Montgomery, who represents our East Ward. And they are working together with individuals in our community to reduce poverty across all of Winston-Salem. He also continues to pursue economic development and bring new jobs of all types into our community. And the wonderful thing about our mayor, I first met him more than 20 years ago when I was reporting in this area. And some of the things that stood out to me is he is very approachable. And he's very mindful of understanding a mayor cannot successfully lead a city without partners. And he works very hard to build bridges among city employees, among nonprofit organizations in our community, among the educators in our community, among the business leaders in our community. And he understands the value of those relationships. It is my pleasure to be your MC today. And we're going to hear from many, many people who have worked with Mayor Alan Joines in a number of capacities. So get set for the stories. The first person we're going to hear from is our Mayor Pro Tem, Vivian H. Burke.
Thank you. I have to be formal to the mayor and elected officials assembled here, and to our former mayor, and to the former employees who served this great city. As the information was being shared, I said, my, he's going to sleep real good tonight. He's going to be happy. It's nice when you know people can say nice things about you and you can hear them. Today, when we were listening to some children singing such beautiful music in City Hall, one song I always like is the one about Mary. Did you know your baby boy was going to be a ruler of the world? I thought about Alan Joines, and when I thought about him, I thought about his parents, raising him in a very humble way, two people working hard with the little boy, putting in his mind the importance of work. And in order to work, you have to have an education. So he went through the schools, and he went on to get his several degrees, and he found a good place to come, the great city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. No matter how hard parents work, children have to want to do. And everything that was stated about Alan Joines, I know it all. I know it all. I started to say, me too. So this is a beautiful evening, and I know the other speakers will have so many things to say, and I want to say that the 230-some, however many thousands of people we have in this city, I know if his parents were here, they would say, well done, son. You've made us proud to come down from a little mountain area into the great city of Winston-Salem and give up your time. So on behalf of the citizens in this city, Mayor Joines, we appreciate you, we thank you, and may God continue to bless you and your family, and for you to have a very, very happy Christmas and a good year. And do stay home and give some time to your family.
Now I invite Martha S. Wood to share some comments. She was the mayor of Winston-Salem from 1989 to 1997.
Well, it's an honor to be here tonight to recognize the contributions that Alan Joines has made to our community over these last, 5 terms? Well, almost, right? Almost. Alan, I don't know, the pay must be better than it was when but I really am pleased to be here to honor you for the service you have given to our community. It is indeed an honor to be an elected official. As Frank and I were on the way here this evening, we had our radio on to the news, of course, and I came here with a heavy heart. Because it seems to me that many elected officials have forgotten who they're working for. And I think that is the most important thing that we can ever do, and that is remember who is really the object of the service we render. And Alan, it's clear that you recognize that, because he knows that I've always said you don't, and I'll be right down here. And when he hasn't, I've been right down here. But it is a recognition of your talents and your abilities and your commitment to public service that has made it possible for you to be elected 4 or 5 times. That's fantastic, Alan. And I congratulate you and I thank you for your good service. And I hope you will remember the words that my husband's cousin, Janet Reno, whom we memorialized this weekend, the words that she always spoke: strength and courage. And that's how she approached her public service. And I'd like to add one more that is very important to me, and that is the word integrity. Who we are speaks much louder than what we do. And who you are, my friend, is a servant of the people.
If Ralph Womble will please come and make some remarks. He's representing the community.
I don't know if I represent the whole community. I have to say, before I begin my comments, I thought this portrait unveiling was usually the last weeks of the last term. And so I was a little bit confused, and so I called Lee Garrity to question, why are we doing this? And I've heard it around, why are we doing it now? I was a little concerned. His answer, not to be unexpected, came from research and forward thinking. Apparently, when discussing with the artist, city council, and the community, no one knew how many more terms Alan would run. So they all agreed to do it now while he still had his teeth. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak about my friend, I think I still am, Mayor Alan Joines. I've known the mayor since he was city manager and worked with him on every campaign for office, and if I live long enough, I'll work on his last one. Even with many tomorrows still ahead, this occasion calls for a reflection of what type of mayor is Alan Joines. To take time to reflect upon those achievements accomplished with the support of the community and a strong city council. Some examples that you've heard before: he led the redevelopment of the Wake Forest Research Park, the rebirth of our downtown, the recruitment of new business for jobs that is a never-ending task, tackling veteran homelessness and making a nationally recognized difference, presenting and addressing our issues of poverty and graduation rates and putting them at the forefront of his agenda and in the face of the community. These and many more, and those yet to come, will be in proclamations and plaques woven into the fabric of our city's history of his terms as mayor of Winston-Salem. But of equal importance will not be remembered by the many, but by the few as a mayor of the people. He has never forgotten that he was elected by the people, and therefore his job was to be there for the people. These are people that come in groups of 10 or 5 or even 1. They need a voice, someone to open a door, to make a call because they feel they can't or they just don't know how. It's showing up on a Sunday morning to help a 28-member congregation celebrate a milestone. It's returning a call. It's making time when he has none. And it's stopping on the street and making that person feel at that moment they matter as much as anyone else. So when the time comes and Alan decides to call it quits, there will be many voices to speak of his achievements as mayor of Winston-Salem. But it will be the silent, the unsaid, the ones and twos at a time that he helped, gave a voice, made time, or just stopped and shook their hand. This will be the way he will be remembered the most as a mayor of the people. Thank you, Alan.
Now I welcome Ernie Pitt, Publisher Emeritus from the Chronicle.
Mr. Mayor, Mrs. Mayor, it's so nice to see both of you. This is a great honor. I wrote a speech. Dog got it, ate it up. But it's easy to talk about someone as distinguished as you have been and are. When I came to Winston in 1974, I did not want to come here. And everybody asked me, why are you going to Winston-Salem? And I reluctantly came here and planted my roots. And Winston-Salem had an identity crisis at the time. It didn't know what it was or who it was. Didn't know whether it was a tobacco town or manufacturing. And so Alan, working at the city in the economic development department, pushed an idea. And many of you in here will remember Common Core, where about 20, I don't know how many, 20, 30 of us went to Blowing Rock, and we spent the weekend trying to put some definitive attributes to what we wanted this city to be or to become. And as I see many of you walking down the street, we kind of, especially Ralph, Ralph is always on the street, we kind of smile, because what you see now is what we spent 2.5 days 30 years ago in Blowing Rock. We now have an identity. We know who we are. We know what we are going to become. We know how we're going to get there. And thanks to the mayor, his consistency, his stick-to-itiveness, and the respect that he gives to every citizen, every person in this town. And to me, that is very, very important, respect, regardless of one's status in life, regardless of one's position of wealth or lack thereof. He respects people. And that's why many in my community, although, you know, I'm a community, you know, I mean, everybody's community, but many in my community really feels as though Alan is really our first black mayor. Thank you. Congratulations.
Now I'd like to invite our city manager, Lee Garrity.
Wow, what an event. Tell you a little city manager secret. When city managers get together occasionally at conferences or at events, there are a few former city managers in this room, occasionally they'll tell war stories about their most difficult elected official. To be honest, every time I'm in one of those events, I come back feeling very blessed. My entire city council, and especially Mayor Joines. In fact, he doesn't even seem like a mayor compared to many other mayors throughout the country as far as the way he operates. So I thought I'd list a couple things about him that came to mind for me. Number one, humility. Ralph Womble told his little story about why this portrait's here. But the truth is, he did not ask to put this portrait up. It was my idea. In fact, he told me, you make sure to tell everybody I didn't ask for it. I said, are you sure you're a politician? But seriously, it is very well deserved. But that speaks to Mayor Joines. He has that humility, that sense of, as everybody mentioned before, that servant passion that makes him walk with all of us and not seem like he's above us. He's one of us. Another thing with Mayor Joines, efficiency. He can run an efficient meeting. If we're not out of here by about 8:30, we're surprised. I can tell you, you can go not too far down the highway, and there are many other city councils who often stay till 11, 12 o'clock at night. He knows how to run a meeting. Civility is the third word. Back to run those meetings, decorum, collegialness for the rest of the council. This council, every council the mayor's been involved with, every council that this whole council's been involved with, council members, it is very civil, very professional. And I'm very blessed because, again, you can go to other places. There's even a video that city managers have of the worst cases I saw at an event. And people throwing things and many other things. So, but we're blessed to have a mayor who can run his council and his government with so much civility. And last but not least, teamwork. Now, I've worked with or for Mayor Joines for my entire career at Winston-Salem. I worked the first 15 years with him and the last 10 years for him. When he first came over to the, as he says, the other side, become an elected official from being a career public administrator, we were like, okay, I wonder how that's going to work. First of all, he knows where managers hide all the money. That's always a joke. But he knows everything. But seriously, he has been so easy to work for. So he has such respect for our staff. You can't find a city employee who will talk bad about Mayor Joines. They, whether it's that officer on the street that he goes up and talks to, that sanitation worker, that our housing inspector, they all think that and know that Mayor Joines is one of them. And that makes a huge difference. It makes it so much easier for me in my job to have him doing that. It is just a true honor to work with Mayor Joines, and I'm just blessed. And again, I'm serious. If you talk to other managers, they will tell you stories, and we don't have that here at Winston-Salem. Our council and our mayor, it's a wonderful place, and so much of it has to do with Mayor Joines. So thank you, Mayor.
Without further ado, let us hear from the man himself, Mayor Alan Joines.
Thank you, Catherine. I'll look under there and make sure that's my picture that we're all talking about there. It's such an honor to be here tonight, and I'm so thrilled to be here. Councilmember Burke always taught me protocol, so let me just make sure I recognize, of course, our Mayor Pro Tem. We also have a number of council members here. Councilmember Denise Adams, I saw right there. Councilmember Durham Montgomery, Councilmember Jeff McIntosh, and Councilmember John Larson. Did I miss anybody? I'm sorry, the Republican, that's right. Robert said he wanted at least 15 minutes to rebut all this when we get through. I also want to certainly recognize my family, my wife Susie McCauley here, my daughter and her husband Mike and Michelle McDowell, and their 2 children Drew and Paige right here, and my son Jeff Joins, who's right here. So I'm just delighted to have you. Also, let me introduce Orville Powell and his wife Diane. Orville was the city manager here and actually was assistant city manager and hired me back in 1971. And we were just laughing at Orville said, I finally just wore him down and he gave me a job. But, Orville gave me some of the best advice I ever got. And Orville, I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but I remember I was a lowly budget analyst and I was given the assignment of making some major cuts in the police budget. So I was having to go up to the 3rd floor to meet with Justice Tucker, who was the police chief at that time, big crusty guy. And Orville said, well, here's what we got to do. And I said, well, can I just tell the chief this is what you want to have happen? He said, no. You got to go up and convince him that this is the right thing to do. So that was some of the best advice I've ever gotten, because you can't lead by forcing people, you got to lead by convincing. So I appreciate that, Orville. And then Bill Stewart, city manager that I worked for I think 20 years and then worked with after I became mayor. And Bill was a consummate professional, taught me so much about organization and how to dive into the waters of politics and to avoid trouble there. So Bill, thank you for that as well. But so many of you in here have played roles in my life, and I couldn't be as successful as perhaps has been said without all of you. You all grabbed a hold of the end of that rope and helped pull it forward. So I'm just truly honored that you're here tonight as we're unveiling this. I think Orville come in and said he always wanted to see me hung. So we're doing that tonight. By the way, the artist is here tonight, Linda Weaver, who painted this portrait here some time ago. But again, thank you all for being a part of this special week. Thank you.
Now, for the moment we've been awaiting, council member and families, all the council members, if you please come forward. Mayor Pro Tem, also, please come forward. And family, the mayor's family, if you please surround him.